What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Let me get to the spot. Hey, everybody. What is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. And today is Turn Up Tuesday. Yes, it is. And I've got a question for you. Who is responsible, or whose responsibility is it to make us happy? We're going to discuss that here on Turn Up Tuesdays on the Plan Your Greatness channel. Hey, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back here on the Plan Your Greatness channel, and this is Turn Up Tuesdays. And this is the second day of the week, and this is Prison Week. And the theme of this week is, how did I do it? And the reason why I'm dedicating that question and that theme to this week is because for the past 20 years, since May 31st, 1999, the day that I got out of prison, I have been asked the question, Carlton, how did you do it? Because I've not gone back to prison. I've since become a father, an author, a college graduate, a business owner, and a motivational speaker. So, I kind of thought I was going to be that. But I mean, when I really think about it, when I was making those plans and those goals when I was in prison, I honestly just said, I'm going to set the highest goals for myself. Now, I didn't know that I was going to, how it was going to come about. But looking at it years later, this is what I want to share with you. I want to share with you how I actually did it. Because as I was doing it, it wasn't a story, it wasn't a book, it wasn't a YouTube channel. I was just grinding because I knew no other way other than to get out of my situation was to really run as fast as I could. And that's exactly what I was doing. So now what I want to do is I want to take you all back. I want to kind of take you not back to when I got into prison, but a little bit before, because what you want to get a little bit of an understanding is what led me to prison. Okay. It's very easy to read the book and say, okay, my God, what did you do? What were the steps you took to get yourself out of that situation? But you kind of need to know a little bit of where my mindset was as far as what led me to prison. So the first thing that I can share with you that was going on in my mind was I was not happy. And people will think about it and say, well, of course, you were locked up in prison. No, again, it was before prison. I was actually in a better mindset once I got in there and once I got through that whole 5 stages of grief period. But you have to think back to my baseball career. I wasn't happy with the career because I wasn't happy with who I was actually getting into becoming a professional baseball player. Because you think about it this way, I really didn't have an identity outside of professional baseball. I had what I call an athletic identity. I was a professional baseball player. If I ever introduced myself to somebody, it was, yeah, I play professional baseball. That was the platform that I was standing on. And it had everything to do with my accomplishments, the things that I had, the places that I traveled, the associations that I had, the women and all that other stuff. Those were the things that created my identity. And what I didn't realize, which I realize now, it's more important, not your destination, but what are you doing in the process leading up to your destination? What are you becoming? I think there's even a saying that says that it's not your destination, it's what you become on the way to your destination. And so I was so wrapped up in the destination. I was a professional baseball player, completely skipping over the work ethic that went involved with it, the exploration, the effort, the experiences, all those things that led up to me becoming a professional baseball player, or really you can apply that to anything. What are you doing in the process of becoming that? because then that's going to determine who you are. And because I was so hell-bent on projecting this image or having these connections or associations, I was really looking outside of myself and looking at how everybody else was looking at me, as opposed to saying, I'm going to grind, I'm going to work, I'm going to explore my best self. I'm going to put forth maximum effort to see how good I could be. I'm going to really embrace the experiences, the people that I meet all along the way, because then when it's over, I have gained something of value, relationships, a work ethic. And then, with that, I would have probably had a pocket full of money. But because I was so bent on what I was never quite happy in anything that I did other than just doing well and then getting the feedback from people. All right. So when you look at that, then it becomes the money that is attached to it, because again, money is an important tool. And so what happened is, instead of me looking at all the things that led up to me making the money, because again, this goes back to, who's responsible for me being happy or you being happy. You have to understand the things that go into that process, which are the work ethic, the effort and everything. So again, what's going to be produced out of that is money. And so what I missed was all the things that I was doing to lead up to making the money. All I was looking at was just having the bag. And because I was just looking at having the bag, I missed all of that. And then I just was like, okay, I got the money. Okay, let me use the money for a car, a nice place, or going out and hanging out and doing all those other things. And as I'm saying, as you see what I'm doing, I'm taking that money and I'm trying to go and be somewhere and do something and impress upon somebody else, as opposed to almost like a business, reinvesting in myself and really becoming happy at what I did and recognizing what I did to get there, as opposed to just doing what I did, disregarding all the work that went in and just saying, okay, I got the bag. And that's what happened. And so in one of my other videos, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it. If I haven't mentioned it, I'm going to mention it in one of the other videos. And that is, as you are going through this process, I've said that one of the best things to do if you're going to know somebody is you need to be able to ask them, not so much be able to, but ask them 1,000 questions. And some people go, look, oh my God, that's a whole lot of questions. Well, let's just look at it in the context of, say you want to know somebody in a year, 365 days. Well, those first 30 or 60 days, you're going to ask a lot of questions. But let's just stretch it out over the course of a year. If you took that and said, I'm going to ask this person 1,000 questions and I'm going to make a decision on whether I want to be with this person or not. Now, some people have responded back to me on Facebook and said, it ain't going to take me 1,000 questions. I agree. But if you say that, okay, I'm going to ask this person 1,000 questions over 365 days, 3 questions a day, that would give you 1,068 questions that you have asked that person. But here's on the flip side. This is again, who's responsible for making ourselves happy? You have to know yourself. Okay. So if you're asking somebody 1,000 questions to really say, yeah, I really want to know this person and get to know, then if you are asking yourself 1,000 questions, how much more do you think you would know yourself after a year? Because even if the person doesn't answer the questions the way that you want it and you end up going in another direction, or if they ask every question that answers and you go, yep, I really think this person is a great person. But on the flip side, you're going to know yourself better. So you may find out about that person and think they're a good person, but you may end up finding out about yourself more. And you go, you know what? I really look at myself differently, and it may change the way that you look at that other person. So again, who's responsible for our happiness? We are. And the way that you're going to get to that is asking yourself some questions. And that's where, when I go back and look at this as far as what led up to prison, because I wasn't very happy with myself, I never took the time to ask myself questions to really find out who I was. So I was unhappy with just this kind of limbo individuals. And so I use that in the context of like right now, because what we have so many social media platforms. LinkedIn is a platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. We've got so many platforms that are out there that we can actually spend our time on, or just being on Google, YouTube. I didn't even mention YouTube. This is the platform we're using now. And so many of us, again, I'm gonna ask this question. I ask it through and through. Who is responsible for our happiness? Now, I say that now, connect that with all the social media platforms. If you're constantly on these social media platforms, you have to ask yourself, because I'm trying to be on here as a producer. So the question you want to ask yourself is, am I on here as a producer or am I on here as a consumer? The majority of us, I would go so far as to say 95 to 98% of the people that are on any of those platforms are on them as a consumer. Even LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is supposed to be like the business to business or profession to profession, skill to skill platform. But guarantee there are people that are just on there just gawking at what other people are doing, as opposed to utilizing that platform as a tool to market themselves out to everybody else. I mean, really and truly looking at it as opportunities. And so if you're doing that, if you're taking all these platforms, looking at these as more or less as you being a producer as opposed to a consumer, then I believe you are truly going to understand and you are going to take responsibility for you being happy and not look at it as it's someone else's responsibility. And if you do that, then I believe you are absolutely 100% planning your greatness. All right. So now here's the call to action on Turn Up Tuesday on the Plan Your Greatness channel. I challenge you to ask yourself for the rest of this year. We are in the month of October. So I say take the rest of October, November, December, and ask yourself one question a day that you want to get answered about yourself. Now, if you're in a relationship with someone else, you can work together with that person and say, I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to ask me a question. I'm going to ask myself a question, but I'm going to ask you a question, one question a day. And let's see if we can answer those questions so we can get to know each other better, but more specifically, get to know ourselves better. And again, absolutely, if you're doing that, you are absolutely on your path to planning your greatness. All right. So make sure that you are hitting the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. Make sure you are hitting that notification bell, which actually lets you know when videos are going live or just when they're going to be posted. And I will end, as I always do, every week. Plan your greatness. You know why? Yeah, because no one else will. I will see you next Tuesday and throughout the rest of this week on the Plan Your Greatness channel. This is Turn Up Tuesday. And again, thank you all for joining, and I will see you next week.
No one knew he was home. No one said